Let's start with you. It's 2 a.m. The pain in your side has gone from bad to something you can't stand up through. And the first thought, before the fear, before anything, is the math. How much is the ambulance? You actually lie there doing it because you already know what's in your account and it's nothing. You wait 20 more minutes you didn't have, hoping it passes. It doesn't. They take you in. Emergency surgery. Your appendix ruptured while you were busy budgeting for the ride. You wake up the next morning alive, sore, relieved. For about a week, you feel lucky. Then the envelope comes. $52,000. You read it the way you'd read a sentence in a language you almost know, slowly, twice, hoping you got it wrong. You didn't. You call. You ask about a payment plan. They give you one, $400 a month for years. And you do the math again and realize you'll be paying for this night when your kids are in middle school. You miss one payment in March and it goes to collections. Your credit drops 60 points overnight. The car loan you needed gets denied. The apartment you applied for sees the collection and passes. Nothing about your life got more expensive because you got sick. It got more expensive because you had nothing standing between you and the number. You weren't punished for being reckless. You were punished for being empty. For the same reason the bottom is always punished. Because down here, you absorb the hit with your whole life since there's nothing else to absorb it for you. 3 floors up, same night, a woman comes out of the same surgery. On paper, she's fine. Marketing director, $110,000 a year, a leased SUV in the lot, a 4-bedroom house with a mortgage she's proud of. If you saw her, you'd think, she's got it handled. She gets the same bill, $52,000. And here's what surprises her. It hits harder than she ever imagined because she goes looking for the money to pay it and discovers she doesn't actually have any. The salary's all spoken for before it lands. The house payment, the car, the cards, the lifestyle that looks like success. She has a 6-figure income and almost nothing she truly owns. Free and clear. So she does what people at her level do. She puts it on credit. She raids the little she'd set aside for the kids. She tells herself she'll catch up next quarter. But the balance carries at 22%, and it grows in the dark while she sleeps, the same way her salary disappears in the light. A year later, she's paid $11,000 toward it, and the number has barely moved. She doesn't look broke. That's the trap. She looks like the woman who has it handled. Right up until one ordinary night proves that looking rich and being able to survive a shock are two completely different things. She had more than you. She had more to lose, more to owe, and almost nothing that was actually hers. The bill didn't find her empty. It found her leveraged, and that's its own kind of broke, just with better furniture. Top floor, private room, same night, same surgery, a man in his late 50s. You'd never pick him out. No watch worth mentioning. A 10-year-old coat folded over the chair, the kind of plane you walk right past. He's worth a little over $10 million, and almost none of it is in a checking account. He gets the same bill, $52,000. The same number, the same paper, the same ink. It reaches his assistant before it reaches him. It's paid in 4 days, in full, and he genuinely has to be reminded later that it happened at all. Not because he's smarter than you, not because he's a better person. He isn't. But because of what he spent the last 20 boring years doing. He owns things. A couple of small buildings that other people pay rent to live in. A piece of a real business that earns whether he's awake or unconscious on an operating table. That month, while he was under anesthesia, the things he owns earned more than the bill. The surgery cost him $52,000 and changed nothing about his life because the money to pay it was generated by assets, not by him. Same hospital, same scalpel, same $52,000. For you, it was a sentence. For her, it was a slow wound. For him, it was a line item someone else handled while he slept. So, look at the three of them in the same building on the same night. The hospital didn't choose who to crush. It didn't know your balance. The bill was blind. $52,000 for all three. No favorites, no mercy, no malice. The number was the one thing they had in common. Everything that happened after the number came down to a single question. What did each of them own, standing between themselves and the bill? You owned nothing, so the bill landed on your life directly, and your life bent under it. She owned a lifestyle she didn't actually own. Financed, leased, borrowed. So the bill found the gap between how rich she looked and how little was hers, and it lived in that gap for years. He owned real things, assets that earn, so his assets paid the bill, and he never felt it touch him. Here's the part that should change how you think. You cannot control the night your body fails. It is coming, for the broke and the comfortable and the rich, for the careful and the careless. The same way it came for all three of them. You don't get a vote on the diagnosis or the bill. What you do get a vote on, years in advance, quietly, starting now, is what you own when it arrives. Not what you earn, not what you look like, what you own. A real cushion that's actually yours and actually liquid. A piece of something that grows whether you're working or sleeping or unconscious. Ownership isn't about getting rich enough to feel special. It's about building enough underneath you that a $52,000 night is a bad week instead of the end of everything. So stay boring. Own real things. Build the floor before you ever need it. Because the people who survived the worst night of their lives didn't decide anything that night. They decided it years earlier when nobody was watching, when they chose to own something real instead of just looking like they did. One night, one hospital, 3 ambulances, 3 people who never met charged the exact same number for the exact same night. The bill on all 3 was identical. It always is. The only thing that wasn't, the only thing that ever decides which morning after you get, was what they'd already built, long before the ambulance ever came. What you build now is the part that's yours.